Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today I am going to get back to work, sort of fine-tuning and rescaping some of the aquariums down here in the Fish Room. But I wanted to just do a chit-chat with you guys as I'm going around and doing my work, because I get a lot of emails about how to run a fish business, how to start, how to be better at YouTube, which I don't know that I'm the one to ask about that, and just sort of the realities of the industry. So I thought today we would talk a little bit about sort of the history of my business, sort of the pitfalls of trying to do something like this, and just the realities of running an operation like this, as well as some of my goals for the future. So I've been working really hard at slowly but surely getting the various tanks in the main wall here rescaped so that they're a better example of what I think that most people would be able to maintain in their household, be sustainable, healthy aquariums with appropriate livestock. So today I'm going to work on just making the super red bristlenose aquarium, which is a 55-gallon, a bit more attractive so that it matches some of the other tanks that I've scaped. And there's a few tanks that I don't even think I've shown you yet, so maybe we'll take a peek at them, or maybe we'll look at them at a later date. But I just figured we could do a chit chat sort of about the realities of pet tube, fish tube, and running a fish business. So let's get started. So what I've done is I've started working from left to right down the wall of tanks to sort of rescape, and you can see they're starting to come together, but I have a lot of work left. And some of these I'll have friends or guest aquascapers come in to set up aquariums, but probably for a lot of them I'm going to do a preliminary rescape just so that I can achieve the goal that I want for this wall, which is an overall impression of a natural, sustainable aquarium. Today we're going to work on trying to manage the dichotomy between having a breeding tank set up and having it be attractive. This aquarium is very successful in that the fish breed all the time, but it just sort of looks like lumps of wood with a giant plant. So I'm going to move a ladder over. I'm going to pull my sponge filters to clean. I'm going to prune this plant a bit, and we're going to see if we can't just make it have a better shape. I have to see if I have any substrate to add in here, but because this is a bristlenose breeding tank, I'm probably going to keep it relatively utilitarian, but we're going to see if we can't make it more attractive. So I think one of the things I get asked the most via email is, how did I start my business? How did I make this a business? And just the realities of doing what I do. I think a lot of people think it's like super fun or glamorous, maintaining all these tanks, and that's definitely not untrue. I mean, I love fish, I love what I'm doing. You know, but it's been a very long journey, and it's still not particularly profitable. I started simply by going to fish clubs and fish events and talking to people, and that started me on the road to lecturing, and I've been lecturing now all over the country and internationally, I think for 10 years. Lecturing led me to writing. I haven't been writing much lately, but I wrote for a bunch of magazines. Amazonas magazine, The Aquatic Gardener. I would sell pictures to other magazines around the world. I wrote some blog posts for some fish-related websites, and I moderated a bunch of online fish forums back in the day. And that hustle sort of got my name out there. It gave me the ability to collaborate with some other businesses in order to do orders of fish and to ask exporters to get me fish that I really wanted. And my husband gave me 3 10-gallon tanks, and my mother gave me $100, and we just sort of went for it. You know, everything that's down here, all the materials, all the aquariums, every piece of equipment, every fish has absolutely come from the work that I've put into the fish room down here. So I guess the inevitability of trying to do something like this is you have to really want it. And that goes for if you want to have a fish business, if you want to breed fish, if you want to sell fish, if you want to do YouTube or whatever to try and make this your primary living. But I'll warn you right now, there is not hardly any profit margin in a lot of this. You don't get paid to be a speaker, unlike in almost every other industry where the lecturers are treated as experts and really paid well. You don't make any money in the fish industry being a lecturer. They generally cover your expenses, which is nice, but every time we travel, we're away from our fish rooms, we're away from our business, we're away from email. I mean, not completely because of smartphones, but you know what I mean. And you get really, really behind. For me, running as many aquariums as I do, that's a real obstacle. And also, unlike in other industries, we don't get the same sort of sponsorship opportunities. Like if you watch other sort of sections on YouTube, you'll see that everyone has these discount codes and sponsorships, and they're making actual money off their influence, and that is not the case in PetTube or FishTube. I mean, a lot of companies want to send you product for promotion, but product doesn't pay the bills. It was only a few months ago that I even started editing without using free software because I just didn't have the money for it, nor the know-how. But I feel very strongly that this is something that's important. Right now I am pulling off damaged leaves from this buiness, which is absolutely massive. I have to be really careful when I'm working in this tank because there's a lot of baby fish, which is a good problem to have. I'm just dropped the water line a little bit just so that my arms don't get as wet. And then we're gonna sort of investigate and see what we've got here. Oh, there's a baby fish. Hello. So I guess the reality is if you want to do something like this, it has to be your passion. You can't expect for it to really make you money, at least not anytime fast. And you know, you have to have something to say. I absolutely love learning about fish, and that's my favorite part of this hobby. I'm gonna grab a siphon so I can spot clean. So I've gone ahead and dropped the water line about 50%. Now I'm just gonna see if I can even get to the plant. What I'd like to do is sort of shift this whole mound. Wow, this is a big piece of buiness. Not sure if you guys can see or not, but it is. There we go. So one of the biggest obstacles for redoing a tank like this is that I need it to remain functional as well as easy to clean because plecos are big waste producers. So gotta really make sure that I can get in there to vacuum. So this will never be as pretty of an aquascape tank as a lot of the others. That being said, I can make it look better than it does. Even if it's just by shifting this wood a bit. To make it look a bit more cohesive. So anyway, I'm not trying to complain about the nature of this business, just kind of trying to share some of the realities. This is not a business that makes you much money. Now diversifying through like writing books. I have a book that did pretty well for me, and I have another one I'm working on. Certainly helps, but the reality is it's just not an industry that you get rich quick on. I'm gonna start refilling so that I can gravel back some more. So what am I gonna do about it? I'm gonna keep working hard. I'm gonna work really hard to make this fish room a more beautiful and functional fish room. I want to set up a lot more model communities for you guys so that I can share with you my experiences with combining fish, maintaining aquariums, providing the most natural, healthy, sustainable environment that we can for fish. And I am actively seeking partnerships with companies that really value sort of the ethics, sustainability, natural environments that we can create within our hobby. People who really value authenticity and honesty. It's always been really distasteful to me when influencers use their channel as a way to promote their own business or to sell you what they can get instead of necessarily what's best. I've always tried really hard to not necessarily promote specific products and talk about how there's a million different ways to do almost everything in this hobby. That being said, I haven't been able to sell fish for a year, and this is an expensive operation to maintain without an income. So I'm actively seeking really great companies that I feel have the same goals I do for our hobby. So if you know of any, let me know in the comments down below. But in the meantime, what that means is for the new year, you may see some different types of videos from me. I'm still going to be focusing on education. I'm still going to be focusing on all the things that I think are important. But you may hear a little bit more about other specific companies or products or things like that. It's yet to be determined. Again, the pet trade is kind of behind the times as far as supporting and utilizing influencers for advertising or just to show their support. So time will tell on that. But I think what we're going to do here in a minute, just grab some more Anubias, fill in some of the spots, and shuffle the wood a bit, and talk about sort of some of the unique needs of setting up an aquarium for breeding like this for catfish. So this is still not really an aquascaped aquarium. It definitely looks a bit better. One of the goals I have for this wall of tanks is that as we look across the fish room, one ties into the other. I still need to find some more pieces of wood to increase the angle there so that we can mimic this slope. But what's really important with this aquarium, beyond being more attractive, is that I provide adequate spots for the fish that I'm breeding in here. Now, super red bristlenoses breed in caves, and that means they need lots of structure as the males trap the females inside the cave in order for them to produce the eggs that the males then guard until they hatch. And if you look around this aquarium, you'll see lots of babies and adults, and it's been a very successful breeding aquarium, and I want to continue to maintain the fish in here, but I needed it to look a bit better. So it's a start. We're not quite done yet. As always, I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments. And just remember that there are always new things for us to learn about our fish, and we should always take into consideration when setting up our aquariums the longevity and sustainability of the species we're trying to keep. That's something that will always remain a focus on my channel, and is why I love doing what I do so much. I'm so very thankful that I have the opportunity to work with fish all day, every day. But it is absolutely a labor of love. And if you're interested in doing something similar, I really encourage you to find your passion, retain your authenticity, and really just go for it. No matter how quickly your channel grows, no matter how fast things go, if you really love this, it is 100% worth it.